Emily never believed a single look could change the way someone's heart beats, until the day her best friend's brother looked at her as if he suddenly saw something no one else ever had. And that was the moment she knew something wasn't right. Something had shifted. And it wasn't supposed to. Emily Carter had always been careful with boundaries. Growing up in a small town in Oregon, she learned early that closeness could be complicated, and silence didn't always make things easier. That was one of the reasons she treasured her friendship with Olivia Benson: simple, honest, predictable. They had been friends since college, and Emily had practically grown into the Benson household. She visited often, shared dinners, celebrated holidays, and felt the kind of comfort you only feel in a home that isn't yours but feels like it is. And then, there was Liam. Olivia's older brother. Quiet, thoughtful, observant Liam, who had always kept a respectable distance. He was polite, warm in a calm way, and treated Emily like he treated everyone else, friendly, casual, nothing more. Which was why, on that late autumn afternoon, when she walked into the Benson living room and found Liam staring at her with an expression she had never seen from him before, Emily froze. His eyes softened, too soft. His breath hitched. And in that one still moment, the air felt heavier. It wasn't the look of a friend. It wasn't the look of someone who simply recognized her. It was something deeper. Something questioning. Something almost hopeful. A wrong signal. Emily blinked, unsure. Maybe she imagined it. Maybe she was tired. But Liam quickly looked away, pretending he had been checking his phone. Yet a faint, nervous smile tugged at his mouth, like he had almost said something but swallowed it instead. She told herself not to think too much of it. But that look followed her all day. During dinner, she caught him glancing again. Not staring, just noticing her in a way he hadn't before. As if something inside him had changed overnight. As if he was suddenly trying to understand her, or hide something from her. Emily cleared her throat, trying to ignore the feeling in her chest. Olivia was busy talking about work, unaware of the silent tension forming across the table. But Emily felt it. She felt Liam watching her carefully, quietly, almost protectively. She felt it when he asked if she wanted more mashed potatoes with a softness he never used. She felt it when Olivia joked about Emily being practically family, and Liam's smile faltered, just for a second, as if the word family wasn't what he wanted her to be. The confusion settled like a knot inside Emily's stomach. Later, when Olivia stepped out to take a phone call, the house fell quiet. Liam stood at the sink, rinsing dishes. Emily moved beside him to help. Their elbows brushed barely, accidentally, but Liam stiffened, then relaxed with a nervous exhale. "Emily," he said softly. Too softly. Her breath caught. "Yeah." He hesitated, gripping the edge of the counter. "Can I ask you something?" Her pulse quickened. She didn't know why. She didn't want to know why. "Sure," she replied, trying to sound normal. He looked at her, not at the plate in her hand, not at the sink, but directly at her, eyes warm and conflicted. "When did you cut your hair?" Emily blinked in surprise. "Last week." He swallowed, forcing the words out carefully. "It suits you a lot." A simple sentence. Innocent on the surface, yet not. Not with the way he said it. Not with the way his voice softened around the word you. Emily felt her heart trip over itself. This wasn't right. Liam wasn't supposed to notice her like this. He wasn't supposed to compliment her with that kind of meaning. He wasn't supposed to look at her like she was someone he had suddenly begun to see differently. He wasn't supposed to. Emily forced a smile, trying to breathe normally. "Thanks." But something had shifted, permanently, unmistakably. Before either of them could say anything else, Olivia walked back into the kitchen, cheerful and unaware. Liam quickly stepped away, pretending to dry his hands. The moment dissolved, but the tension didn't. Emily knew what she saw. She knew what he felt, whatever it was. And she knew. A wrong signal had been sent. And now, everything was about to change, whether she wanted it to or not. Emily tried to pretend everything was normal. She tried to laugh at Olivia's jokes, comment on the new fall decor in the living room, and act as though Liam hadn't just looked at her like she was someone entirely new. But every time she glanced at him, She caught the smallest flicker of something unfamiliar, something he quickly tried to hide. And that made it even harder to ignore. That night, as Emily prepared to leave, Olivia insisted on walking her to the door. "Are you sure you don't want to stay for a movie? Liam's picking one." Emily shook her head. "I have an early meeting tomorrow." But the real reason sat heavy in her chest. She wasn't ready to sit in the same room with him, not when she didn't understand what was happening. Just as she reached for her jacket, Liam appeared at the bottom of the stairs. His gaze found hers instantly, like it was a reflex he couldn't stop. The hallway light cast a warm glow behind him, softening the edges of his face. "Heading out?" he asked. Emily nodded. "Yeah." His jaw tightened with a quiet thought he didn't say. "Drive safe." There was something in the way he said it, gentle, hesitant, almost concerned. Emily felt it, even if she didn't want to. The small muscles near his eyes softened, and his posture shifted slightly forward, as though he wanted to walk her to the car, but didn't. Because Olivia was standing right there. Emily murmured a small goodbye and stepped outside. The cool autumn air brushed against her face, grounding her for a moment. But as she reached her car, she heard the front door open behind her. She turned. Liam stood at the doorway alone. Olivia had stayed inside. He didn't step out, didn't call her name, he just watched her quietly, like he was trying to communicate something without crossing a line. A long, unspoken moment stretched between them. Then he gave her a small nod. A soft, conflicted smile. And disappeared back inside. Emily's breath left her in a slow, shaky exhale. This wasn't her imagination. This wasn't a harmless misunderstanding. Something had changed in Liam, subtly, deeply, and unmistakably. And now she didn't know what to do with it. The next morning, her phone buzzed. She expected Olivia, but the screen showed a name she hadn't seen there in a long time. Liam Benson. Her heart skipped. It was a short message. "Did you get home okay?" Emily stared at the screen, stunned. Liam had never texted her before, not directly, not privately. Their conversations had always passed through Olivia or happened in the same room. But now, he reached out on his own. She typed slowly. "Yeah, I got home fine. Thanks." She paused, debating whether to add a smiley face or something casual to lighten the mood. She deleted, retyped, deleted again. Before she could send anything else, another message came in. "Good. Just wanted to make sure." Emily felt an unexpected warmth rise in her chest, a warmth she pushed away immediately. This wasn't good. This wasn't simple. This wasn't supposed to be happening. She placed the phone down and walked away, trying to clear her mind. But the truth was clear now. Liam's feelings, or whatever he was beginning to feel, were stepping out of the shadows. And soon, she would have to face them. Whether she was ready or not, for the next few days, Emily tried to settle back into her normal routine: work at the marketing firm, late afternoon coffee breaks, quiet evenings with a book. But normal didn't feel normal anymore. Not with Liam's messages appearing every morning. Nothing inappropriate. Nothing bold. Just soft, thoughtful check-ins. "Hope your meeting goes well today. Did you eat lunch? Don't forget. It's getting colder. Keep a jacket in your car." Sweet. Gentle. Too gentle. It was the kind of attention that made her chest tighten in a way she didn't want to name. Because this wasn't a stranger. This wasn't someone she could shut out without consequence. This was her best friend's brother. A boundary she should never cross. But the more she tried to create distance, the more she noticed the messages felt comforting. Like someone was paying attention to the small parts of her day that people usually forgot. Someone who shouldn't be paying attention. On Thursday evening, Olivia invited her over again, casually mentioning Liam would not be home, he's working late, as always, she said with a grin. Emily accepted. She needed a break from overthinking. The house felt familiar and warm, like it always did. She and Olivia ordered takeout, watched an episode of their favorite show, and talked about everything: work, relationships, the upcoming holidays. Everything except Liam. Until Olivia paused the TV and gave Emily a narrowed, suspicious look. "Okay," she said, crossing her arms. "What's going on with you lately?" Emily blinked. What do you mean? You're jumpy. Distracted. And you looked terrified when you walked in. Olivia leaned closer. Did someone say something to you? Is someone bothering you? Emily's stomach flipped. No. No one's bothering me. Then what is it? Before Emily could answer, the front door unlocked. Both women turned. Liam stepped inside, earlier than expected, his jacket still on, hair slightly messed like he had rushed home. His eyes found Emily almost immediately, quick, sharp, relieved. And that look again. That same warm, searching look. Olivia didn't notice. But Emily did. Her pulse stumbled. You're home early, Olivia said. Liam shrugged casually. Work finished sooner than I thought. But Emily saw the truth in the way his shoulders relaxed, as if he was relieved to see her there. Olivia didn't catch any of it. She simply turned back to her food. But Liam? He lingered near the doorway, watching Emily with an expression that made it hard to breathe. And when Olivia went upstairs to find an extra blanket, Liam finally approached. Soft steps. Careful distance. But eyes that gave him away. Emily, he said quietly. Her throat tightened. Yeah. He hesitated, searching her face like he was trying to understand the storm inside her. Then, gently, too gently, he asked. Are you avoiding me? Emily's breath caught. She hadn't expected him to see it. She hadn't expected him to name it. She hadn't expected him to stand this close, voice steady but eyes uncertain. She didn't know what to say. Because yes, she was. And no, she didn't want to hurt him. And yes, something was happening between them that shouldn't be. I know, I'm not, she whispered, even though it wasn't the whole truth. Liam nodded slowly, taking in her hesitation. He didn't push. He didn't accuse. His voice lowered even more, warm and honest. You can tell me if something feels wrong. I don't ever want to make you uncomfortable. Her heart twisted sharply at that, because he meant it. He truly meant it. But before she could answer, Olivia's voice echoed down the stairs. Emily. I found the blanket. Liam stepped back instantly, masking the moment. Emily stood frozen, breath unsteady, knowing she had just stepped into something deeper than she intended. Something that wasn't going to fade on its own. Because Liam wasn't guessing anymore. He was noticing. He was feeling. And he was asking questions she wasn't ready to answer. This was more than a wrong signal now. This was the beginning of a truth she couldn't avoid for much longer. Emily didn't sleep well that night. Every time she closed her eyes, Liam's question echoed in her mind. Are you avoiding me? He hadn't asked with frustration. He hadn't sounded upset. He sounded hurt. And that alone unsettled her more than anything. By morning, she had convinced herself to keep some distance. A little space would help everything settle, right? But space didn't come easily when her phone buzzed at 9:12 a.m. Liam. Morning. Didn't mean to make things awkward yesterday. Emily stared at the message far too long. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard twice before she finally replied. Emily. It wasn't awkward. Don't worry. Another bubble appeared almost instantly. Liam. Okay. I'm glad. Soft. Simple. Yet her heart reacted like he had said something bigger. She needed air. That weekend, Olivia dragged her out for coffee at their favorite spot near the river. Emily hoped it would distract her, but the moment they sat down, Olivia gave her a knowing look. Okay, she said, leaning forward, this time you have to tell me what's going on. Emily's stomach dipped. Liv. Nope. No excuses. Olivia pointed her straw at her. You're my best friend. I know when something is off. You're jumpy, you're overthinking, and Liam keeps acting weird. Emily froze. Weird? How? Olivia raised a brow. He asked me yesterday if you got home safely last time you visited. He never asks stuff like that. Emily's heart thudded hard. And, Olivia continued, he had that same look he gets when he's worried about Mom. You know, the soft one. The soft one. Emily knew exactly what she meant. Her throat tightened. So, Olivia said slowly, is there something I should know? Emily opened her mouth, no words. She wasn't ready. She didn't want to lie, but she wasn't ready to tell the truth. She barely understood herself. "Liv, nothing's happening," she said quietly. "It's just, I think he's being extra nice lately. Maybe he's stressed." Olivia stared at her for a long moment. Then she nodded, accepting the explanation more easily than Emily expected. "Yeah, that makes sense. He's been working a lot." Emily forced a smile. Too forced. And yet Olivia let it go. For now. Later that evening, Emily walked along the river path alone, trying to quiet her racing mind. The water shimmered under the fading sun, the air crisp and gentle. It should have helped. It didn't. Her thoughts kept circling one person. Liam. His eyes. His quiet concern. His voice asking if she was avoiding him. The way he seemed relieved every time she replied to his messages. She wanted to deny everything. She wanted to push it all away. But she wasn't blind. Something had changed. In him. And in her. That was the part she didn't know how to face. She stopped at a wooden railing overlooking the river, closing her eyes, trying to breathe. When she opened them again, she jolted. Liam was standing a few feet away. Not close enough to crowd her. Not far enough to be accidental. Just there. Quiet. Steady. A little breathless, like he had hurried when he saw her. Emily's heart dropped into her stomach. "What are you doing here?" she whispered. Liam stepped closer, hands in his jacket pockets, eyes deep with something she felt in her bones. "I saw your car from the road," he said softly. "I thought you might want company." His voice wasn't confident, it was careful, hopeful, and uncertain all at once. Emily looked away, her pulse unsteady. Liam, we shouldn't." "Emily." He said her name so gently it almost hurt. She swallowed hard. "This is confusing. And complicated. You're Olivia's brother. We shouldn't blur anything." Liam nodded slowly. But he didn't step back. "Then tell me what you want," he said quietly. The wind stilled. Her breathing caught. Her mind raced. He wasn't asking about them. He was asking about the truth. A truth she wasn't ready to speak. She opened her mouth. But no words formed. Liam exhaled shakily, studying her face as if searching for an answer she wouldn't give. Then, with a faint, pained smile, he whispered, "That's what I thought." He turned away. Not angrily. Not dramatically. Just, with a sadness that sank into the air between them. And Emily stood frozen, heart pounding, realizing she wasn't the only one overwhelmed. He was too. And now, the distance she thought she wanted suddenly felt unbearable. Emily didn't hear from Liam for 2 days. 2 long, restless, hollow days. No morning texts. No gentle reminders. No quiet check-ins. The silence felt heavier than his messages ever had. And the worst part? She missed them. Not because she depended on them, but because they had meant something. Something she wasn't brave enough to admit out loud. By the 3rd evening, Olivia invited her over again, this time for a small game night with a few friends. Emily almost said no, but guilt tugged at her. She didn't want Olivia to sense anything strange. She needed to act normal. Pretend everything was fine. But she wasn't prepared for what she felt when she stepped into the Benson house. Liam was there. He was sitting at the dining table, helping set up the board game, sleeves rolled up, expression unreadable. When he looked up and saw her, his face didn't soften the way it usually did. No warm recognition. No quiet attention. Just a polite nod. A polite nod. It hit her like a punch. "Hey, Emily," he said, tone even, steady, distant. Emily swallowed. "Hey." He looked away first. And that, more than anything, made her chest tighten painfully. Everyone else was laughing, joking, arguing over game rules. But Emily felt like she was watching everything from underwater. Liam barely spoke to her. Not rudely. Not coldly. Just, carefully. As if he was drawing a line because she didn't. As if he didn't want to make things uncomfortable. As if he was protecting himself. She didn't expect that. She didn't expect the ache that followed it. During a break, Emily slipped into the kitchen to breathe. The room was quiet, warm from the oven, smelling of popcorn and cinnamon. A moment later, footsteps approached softly behind her. Liam. Her pulse quickened, but she kept her eyes on the counter. "You okay?" he asked, voice low, gentle but not the same gentle as before. This one was cautious, almost formal. "Yes," she whispered. "Just needed air." Liam nodded. "Makes sense." He turned as if to leave, but paused. And then, the truth he had been hiding for 2 days slipped out in a single, fragile line. "You don't have to be uncomfortable around me, Emily." Her breath caught. "I'm not uncomfortable." He gave a quiet exhale, something like disbelief, something like hurt. "You were," he murmured. "And that's okay. I crossed a line you didn't want crossed." Emily flinched. "I never said that." "You didn't have to," he said softly. "I could see it." She finally looked at him. Really looked. Liam wasn't angry. He wasn't frustrated. He was wounded. Trying to hide it, but failing. And suddenly Emily realized something she hadn't allowed herself to see. He wasn't confused. He wasn't guessing. He cared. Deeply. Quietly. Honestly. And she had pushed him away without meaning to. She opened her mouth, hesitated, then forced the truth out in a trembling breath. "I wasn't uncomfortable with you. I was uncomfortable with myself. I didn't know how to handle everything." His eyes softened slowly, carefully, like a window opening in a dark room. "Emily," he whispered. "You don't have to explain. Really." "But I do," she whispered back. "Because you weren't the only one feeling something." Liam froze. Completely. Not moving. Not breathing. Just staring at her as if trying to understand whether she meant the words she had never dared to say before. A storm of emotions flickered across his face: hope, confusion, disbelief, and something much deeper. He stepped closer, not too close, just close enough that she felt the warmth of his presence. "What are you saying?" His voice was barely above a whisper. Emily looked down at her hands, afraid of her own honesty. "That what I felt scared me," she said. "Because it wasn't supposed to happen. You're Olivia's brother. And I didn't want to hurt anyone. I didn't want to hurt you." Liam exhaled shakily, a breath he had been holding for far too long. "Emily," he murmured, his voice breaking just slightly. Before he could say more, laughter from the dining room approached. Footsteps. Voices. Liam stepped back instinctively, hiding the emotion in his eyes. And as Olivia walked into the kitchen, cheerful and oblivious, Emily felt her heart pull in 2 different directions. Relief for finally speaking. And fear, because everything was about to get more complicated. Far more complicated. Emily couldn't focus for the rest of the night. Every smile she gave Olivia felt borrowed. Every laugh felt a second too late. She kept replaying her conversation with Liam, his eyes, the shock, the hope he tried to hide. And the truth she had finally admitted. By the time the guests left, her heart felt like it was beating in the wrong place. She needed to talk to him again. Really talk. Not in stolen sentences or broken whispers. She found him outside on the porch, leaning against the railing, staring at the quiet street. The porch light cast a soft gold glow on his face, making him look more vulnerable than she'd ever seen him. "Liam," she said gently. He turned. His eyes met hers, uncertain, searching, a little afraid. Emily stepped closer. "We didn't finish our conversation." He exhaled, rubbing the back of his neck. "I didn't want to push you." "You weren't pushing me," she whispered. "I was pulling away because I didn't know what to do with what I felt." He stilled. "What you felt," he repeated softly. Emily nodded, her voice trembling with honesty she could no longer hide. "I cared," she said. "I still do. And it scared me. Because you're important to me. And I didn't want to ruin anything, not with you, not with Olivia, not with your family." The heaviness in Liam's expression shifted, slowly, beautifully, into something tender. "You think you'd ruin something by caring about me?" he asked, stepping forward, just enough for her to feel the warmth of his presence. "I thought," she said, "that caring would complicate everything." He shook his head, voice soft and steady. "Emily, caring is the only thing that makes anything worth it." Her breath caught. Then, gently, still leaving space between them, Liam reached out his hand, palm open, not demanding, just offering. You don't have to decide the future, he whispered. Just tell me you're not scared of me anymore. Emily stared at his hand. Then at his face. Then at the quiet, honest hope in his eyes. I'm not scared of you, she said, placing her hand in his. I'm scared of how much I feel. But I don't want to run from it anymore. Liam's fingers closed around hers, warm and careful. The tension between them eased, softening into something gentle, grounded, real. For the first time, nothing felt wrong. Nothing felt like a line they were crossing. It just felt right. Emily, he said, his voice barely above a breath, whatever this becomes, we'll handle it together. She smiled, small and shaky but genuine. Together sounds nice. And in the doorway behind them, someone cleared their throat. Both turned. Olivia stood there, arms folded, eyebrows raised, but her expression wasn't angry. It was amused, curious, and surprisingly soft. Well, she said, this explains a lot. Emily's stomach dropped. Olivia. Olivia held up a hand. Relax. I'm not mad. Just shocked. Very shocked. Then she looked at her brother. But if you hurt her, I will personally drag you into the river. Liam laughed under his breath. Fair. Olivia turned to Emily with a grin. And you, next time something big is happening, maybe tell me. I'm your best friend. Emily flushed. I was afraid it would ruin things. Olivia shook her head, stepping forward to hug her. Nothing's ruined. Life's weird. Feelings happen. I just want both of you to be happy. She pulled back, gave Liam a pointed look, then disappeared inside. Emily and Liam exchanged stunned glances. Then relief, warm, overwhelming relief, washed through them both. Liam squeezed her hand gently. Still scared. Emily smiled, her heart finally steady. Not anymore. And under the quiet glow of the porch light, with autumn leaves rustling softly around them, Emily realized something simple and undeniable. The wrong signal she feared had turned into something unexpectedly right. Something honest. Something mutual. Something she was finally ready for. And as Liam stood beside her, steady and sincere, she knew. Whatever came next, they would face it side by side.